Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this sales-focused webinar around migration to Azure. My name is Steve Gray. I'm an Azure Business Development Manager here in the Infrastructure as a Service team at Ingram Micro. Quick look at the agenda of what we're going to speak through today. Firstly, we'll cover why Azure, and not why the product, but why you should be selling Azure to your customers, and in particular, the reasons why you want to be migrating workloads to the cloud for your customers. We're going to look at some potential customer challenges that they're facing at the moment and the solutions to those challenges. And have a look at what the target audience or your target customers should be for these conversations, and what that process will look like. Have a quick look at some conversation starters, and then we're going to look at a tool called Azure Migrate. I'm going to run through some enablement and resources that we have here at Ingram Micro. A quick look at Microsoft's Azure Assist program for FY21. And then a few other little bits and time for some questions at the end. Now, we do have the Q&A set up. I will be looking at that throughout the call. So if you have any questions, please type them in the box. And we will look to answer them as soon as we can. Also, there will be a little poll in there, so keep your mouse at the ready, because we will need you to answer a little question halfway through. Now, firstly, why Azure? Now, I'm not going to talk about the products in detail, but what I want to do is highlight the opportunity available to partners around migrating workloads into the cloud. Now, Microsoft would describe Azure as having unparalleled innovation, unmatched security, and unbeatable Austin programs, but basically it would help your customers to save money, improve efficiency, and increase protection by migrating those workloads to the cloud powered by Azure. Now, as you can see in the bottom left, Microsoft have stated that they think 50% of large SMBs are going to be moving to the cloud in the next 12 months. And if you had a 125 employee business, this is specifically to the data migration sector, you would have $34,000 for a 125 employee business. It would be the Azure annual consumption. And the partner opportunity, or the revenue attributed to you, including incentives and margin, is 6.8K thousand. Well, that's in dollars. But potentially for one business, that's a lot of revenue that you can be going after. Just going to look at some of the customer challenges that are being faced in the on-premise environment at the moment. We're going to split that into two areas: need to reduce costs and increase agility, and cyber security and compliance. So from the spend piece, aging hardware and software that require frequent maintenance, or any additional support or IT bandwidth, create an increased spend. We have some on-premise infrastructure carrying additional costs for utilities, racks, physical security, the cooling hardware, backup power, etc. And it's also challenging to add and reduce capacity aligned with business needs for that flexibility. And in the cyber security and compliance area, we've got government and industry plus customer standards are sometimes difficult to keep up with lots of compliance. I won't like to count and put a number on it. I know it was 90 plus the last time I looked, but it's probably more than that now. Compliance certifications. You could have customers concerned about ransomware attacks that could cause their business to lose access to apps and data for potentially hours, days, weeks, or forever in worst case scenario. We're going to have customers that are also concerned about breaches that can expose applications and data to cyber criminals, and also identity theft. So what are the solutions to some of those problems? Well, the Azure cloud is cost effective, so you pay less and get more. Plus there's unmatched security, privacy, and business continuity. So from the cost perspective, you'd spend less time managing server infrastructure and more time adding business value. You drop that burden of large upfront costs for locally run servers. Plus, you'd be able to respond quickly to changing business requirements with the ability to add capacity during peak seasons and reduce it when you need less, offering substantial cost savings. You can only pay for what you use for short or seasonal cloud needs. You get unmatched pricing in the industry, paying a predictable rate for always-on critical services, using reserved instances. So with the new Azure Commerce experience, you could also use Azure cost management tools to easily track utilization and follow cost savings recommendations that provides. And in security, you can guard your business against external threats and ransomware by using built-in security features across on-premise and cloud deployments or hybrid. Make sure your business stays up, the customer's business stays up and running no matter what, with full backup and recovery to the cloud. To make it easy for their employees to access all their apps and devices with secure single sign-on from anywhere and using Windows Virtual Desktop. And then from a data privacy perspective, be able to provide customers with products, information, and controls that allow them to choose how data is collected and used. Who are we going to target for these migrations to Azure? Now, customers with on-premise servers running Windows Server 2008 or R2 or SQL Server 2008 or R2, for which obviously support ended in January 2020. There's still a number of examples of where this is the case. Now, some have decided to purchase extended end of support for these, which will be costing a large amount currently. But extended support has no cost when these servers are migrated to Azure. So these customers would be the first ones to look at. Have customers handling consumer data that may be worried about security breaches and ransomware attacks. So any industries where there may have been some recent visible attacks, professional services, manufacturing or retail. Customers with open source infrastructure. Customers that are already in Azure but may be looking to adopt further, so they may be currently only running backup. There could be customers that are paying for a secondary data center for disaster recovery or backup purposes, where we can start by putting that backup into Azure and into the cloud. And then there's other migration triggers. So we mentioned Windows Server SQL end of support. It could be VMware end of support. It could be due to changed compliance, other security threats. They might be having a software or hardware refresh. There could be capacity, really urgent capacity needs or changes that they needed from a storage perspective. Could be having an acquisition or integration, or data center contract might be expiring, or even a desire for app innovation. But all that equate to a lot of potential customers. Now, what do we say to some of these customers that are sensitive about some of these areas you can see on the screen? Costs, security and compliance, aging servers or innovation. Imagine if you've got existing customers, you'll already be having these conversations with them. But if it was someone new or someone you didn't speak to regularly, you could, from a cost perspective, ask them how they're keeping IT costs under control as they grow the business, or consider how much of the budget you could save by moving workloads to the cloud. From a security perspective, that's becoming more and more prevalent. What's your strategy for protecting your business from the growth in sophisticated cyber threats we're seeing today? Or how much time do you spend keeping up with increasingly complex compliance requirements? For aging servers, I think we know what will be happening in that case. It would be, are you running aging hardware and software you need to replace? Or are you concerned about security risks of running older technology? And then innovation for applications, it would be, or how much time could you save by moving workloads to a managed cloud environment? Just getting that conversation started around that move to the cloud. What will we do for targeting these partners? So we create a target customer list, a target list of accounts for those migration discussions. Now, this can be both existing customers that you have intelligence on, or new customers that you may not yet have any intelligence on. So you can use your Microsoft Cloud Ascent data to understand more about your current customers directly from the Microsoft Partner Center. Get in touch with us if you want to have a walkthrough and a demo of how to understand that insight tab that's appeared on the left-hand side over the past 3 months. The next point would be to leverage some of the available resources from Ingram's Go-to-Market Hub or directly from Microsoft. There's a lot of email templates and infographics to start to generate customer discussions. You may skip that if you already have existing customers. You can have the discussions, prepare the discussions yourself and walk customers through the Windows Server migration or SQL Server migration pitch decks. They have talk tracks on them to be able to present to your customers to understand the benefits of migrating those workloads into the cloud. Next up is a migration assessment. So you need to help customers to assess their migration readiness and what those potential costs would be for moving them into the cloud. Understanding the total cost of ownership. Microsoft have a total cost of ownership calculator, which will understand the cost saving potential in full, which will include rental costs, building costs, lighting costs, cooling, people to manage those data centers, etc. And then next will be create a migration proposal. Now, all of those things sound easy in real life, but we know that there's steps that would be missed out in there. The main point we're going to touch upon moving forward is the migration assessment. There's a fairly large amount of challenges that partners come to me on a daily basis with, what do I do around this or what do I do around that? So now I'm just going to do a quick poll. So get your clickers ready. What do you feel least confident about as a partner about speaking to your customers around migrating to the Azure cloud? Is it that you're uncertain about correct Azure pricing or cost estimations? Are you unsure which virtual machines to recommend as a replacement for their current servers? Is it that you're not confident in how to migrate the workloads to the cloud? Is it unsure on how to pitch the benefits of Azure? Or is it another one? If it's another one, if you could just open the Q&A, I obviously won't answer to it, but if you could put that in one of the questions and submit of where you think that you could have further assistance to build that confidence. What I'm going to do with this poll is work out with the team on where we provide content in the future. So if it was for pricing, we could maybe run a session purely based on pricing. If you could just put your answers in there now, and we'll have a look at the results towards the end. It'll be interesting to see what those results are, but I just want to touch upon a tool that's within the Azure portal. It's free to use, that can alleviate some of those worries and confidence issues, as it will help you do probably 3 of the 5 answers that were on that question. Now let's just watch a quick 2-minute video.
The benefits of moving to the cloud have been proven again and again. The question now isn't why to make the move, it's how do we get there? Microsoft knows migration isn't easy, but Azure Migrate is here to simplify things. Azure Migrate is your central hub for cloud migration projects. It allows you to manage every aspect of the discovery, assessment, and migration process. Track and manage migration efforts end-to-end, all in the Azure portal. Take advantage of migration support from your whole environment, including Windows and Linux servers, databases, web apps, and more. Choose the right tools for your needs, from the native Azure migration tools to partner tools integrated with the Azure Migrate Hub. Migrate at your own pace with the guided, step-by-step experience of Azure Migrate. Choose a discovery tool to build an assessment. Discover and understand everything you need to know about your on-premises environment. Assess machines at scale. Get the computing power you need from the cloud. Nothing more, nothing less. Calculate cost savings from migrating. Select a migration tool to move your workloads to the cloud. Automatically apply insights from your assessment to your migration. Cut over in seconds with minimal application downtime. Continue to optimize post-migration. And on top of all of this, Azure Migrate gives you an agentless experience, reducing complexity and helping you make the most of your investment in the cloud. Moving to the cloud is a big deal, but it doesn't have to be a big headache. Try Azure Migrate today, and let us help simplify your journey to the cloud.
So Azure Migrate then, it provides a centralized hub to assess and migrate to Azure any on-premise servers, infrastructure, applications, and data. And it provides a unified migration platform, so a single portal to start, run, and track your migration to Azure. It has a range of tools for both assessment and migration. These tools include Azure Migrate Server Assessment and the Azure Migrate Server Migration. Azure Migrate also integrates with other services and tools and with any ISV offerings. Now, from an assessment and migration perspective, in the hub, you can assess and migrate servers. So you would discover and assess on-premise servers and migrate them to Azure virtual machines or Azure VMware solution, which is in preview. Any databases, it would assess on-premise database, migrate them to a SQL database or to a SQL managed instance. Web applications, it would assess and migrate them to Azure App Service by using Azure App Service Migration Assistant. With virtual desktops, it will assess any on-premise VDI, virtual desktop infrastructure, and migrate it to Windows Virtual Desktop in Azure. And data. So it would migrate large amounts of data to Azure quickly and cost-effectively using Azure DataBox products. Now, the server assessment tool, the assessment tool, it discovers and assesses on-premise VMware VMs or Hyper-V VMs and also physical servers for migration to Azure. And the tool provides readiness, so it will assess whether on-premise machines are ready for migration to Azure. And then from a sizing perspective, it will estimate the size of a virtual machine or number of Azure VMware nodes after migration. So it will also provide costs alongside that, so cost for running on-premise servers in Azure. Now, there's a couple of different assessments that you can do. One is as is, so it would be a lift and shift using the same size machine that is on-premise. The other is to optimize or to right size. Now, this will assess the resources over a period of time, so we would normally suggest running for at least 4 weeks to give an understanding of the utilization of those servers. And this will give recommendations of the size and the cost-saving potential of how that would look at the cloud. Now, the second option would always be give you the most accurate representation of what those costs would be. So we'd always suggest running them before working out what the costs would be. Now, we'd also identify any cross-server dependencies and optimization strategies for moving interdependent servers to Azure. The server assessment uses a lightweight Azure Migrate appliance that you deploy on premises. The appliance just runs on a VM or physical server. You can install it easily by using a downloaded template. Now, the appliance discovers the on-premise machines and continually sends machine metadata and performance data to Azure Migrate, so you can monitor that straight from the portal. Now, this appliance discovery is agentless, so nothing is installed on the discovered machines. And after appliance discovery, you can gather discovered machines into groups and run assessments for each group. So, for instance, you could see what it would look like to have premium SSDs over standard. And then once all that discovery has been made, the Azure Migrate Server Migration tool will help you migrate those workloads to the cloud. I just want to go through the enablement journey. So whether you're a brand new partner to Azure or if you are a developed partner, there are many things that we can help you with continuing that learning. So whether it be from learning the business value of Azure for your sales teams, or from your technical teams to start the journey with Azure fundamentals, or for the Azure Administrator exam, which goes towards your silver and gold competencies from Microsoft, or whether it be that you want to understand the licensing or the different billing mechanisms in Azure, you can get in touch with us to understand to use Get Licensing Ready, which will aid you on that learning path. We also have our resources and go-to-market hub, which will provide you tools, pitch decks, email templates, marketing campaigns, as we discussed, along with video and webinar training and demo content that you can use around some of the resources and how you build some of the solutions in Azure. Also, I want to let you know that we can help you understand your cloud ascent, which is insights in your partner center for Microsoft, which gives you an insight into your current customers. Get in touch with us. I won't go through that now. Get in touch with us if you want a demo of that. It can provide insights in some of the potential customers that are ready for a move to Azure. And here at Ingram, we've also got our Azure Accelerate program. We're dedicated to simplifying the complexity of the cloud. So whether you're brand new to infrastructure as a service or an Azure expert, you can turn to us for support in that journey. So there's 3 stages to that journey: fundamentals, develop, and elite. But the Azure Accelerate program is a partner transformation program designed to deliver exclusive services, promotions, and offerings for partners to achieve depth and scale in Azure consumption. Now, Azure Assist. So as well as the tools on offer at Ingram Micro Cloud, Microsoft have a set of programs for FY21 to assist in migrating your customers to Azure. First up, we have Azure Sales Support, also known as Demand Response, where you can nominate your Azure customer opportunities. You would then get access to an inside sales representative at Microsoft to assist you on the pre-sales phase with your customer. Inside sales at Microsoft also have access to licensing and technical resources that may unblock any challenges that you're facing in those customer conversations. Now, although it says the minimum deal size is $25K per annum, Microsoft are currently taking opportunities projected to be over $1,000 per month in size. Next up, we'll talk about solution assessments. So we have mentioned Azure Migrate, which is more of a manual process for you guys to assess your current customers' infrastructure. However, if you have any projects believed to be over 10 virtual machines in size, we may be able to use Microsoft to do that assessment on your behalf. So it allows you to nominate your customer opportunities for one of 4 solution assessments. Now, the 2 that we normally push from our side are Windows Virtual Desktop, and one relevant to this webinar is Azure Data and Infrastructure, where Microsoft will run a little tool exactly like you would on Microsoft Azure Migrate, and that will assess that customer's infrastructure and its readiness for the cloud. It would see which machines needed resizing, whether there was any licensing that could be used using software assurance to save costs. It will give you a right size cost, it will give you a lift and shift size cost, and it will give you a nice economics report that you could provide to board level to your customers for them to peruse and work out whether or not a journey to the cloud is viable for them. We've also had proof of concept funding from Microsoft. Now we can apply for up to $5,000 of credit, which needs to be consumed over the first 2 months of an Azure project. This has to be projected to be above $30,000 per annum. So normally you would get on a 1 to 10 ratio. So if your project was to be $30,000 per annum, you would normally get $3,000 to start. And 50K, likewise, you're more likely to get the 5K. If you are interested in that, get in touch with us and we will contact Microsoft to request that proof of concept. During that time of 2 months, Microsoft take ownership of the subscription from Ingram and apply credit, and then it would, once the 2 months is up or your credit runs out, it would then be transferred back and be billed as normal through Ingram. One note, as you can see in red there, is Azure Plan is currently not eligible for proof of concept funding, so this is all on legacy CSP subscriptions. And finally, Windows Virtual Desktop offer currently runs until the 31st of March 2021, so not too long, but you would get 30% discount on the compute costs for D-Series and BS-Series virtual machines that are used in a Windows Virtual Desktop host pool for up to 90 days. So if you deploy that before the end of March, you will get 90 days of that 30% discount. So customers must be deploying into the Azure Commercial Cloud, so it's not for Azure Government, and only one subscription per billing scope is eligible for the promotion. That's a lot of things. If you want to get in touch about any of those assist programs from Microsoft, get in touch with your account manager, and we can submit the forms, the requirements for you to get access to those programs. As well as all the tools and resources and programs both ourselves and Microsoft have to assist you with your migration to Azure, you can always rely on us if you want to outsource and use our professional services. As an Azure expert MSP, Ingram are well placed to aid your migration and deployment projects. So please get in touch if you want to discuss our professional services any further. Here at Ingram, we've developed clear growth paths for your infrastructure as a service business. We want to help you to help your customers modernize their business with the innovation, flexibility, and affordability they need, backed by the security they expect from Microsoft. We want to assist you in optimizing your infrastructure offering, ensuring a secure future for your customers, ensure modern transformation of your services to keep abreast of future technologies, and also innovating by exploring new areas that can help you grow. With Microsoft Azure, customers can start moving their business to the cloud on their terms. Now on to the poll results. Thanks for answering that question. Now, as I said, it was purely for us to work out and understand where some of our partners felt less confident. So what we can do is build some content in the future around these areas specifically. If you do want a one-on-one conversation, get in touch with your account manager and we can guide you through your enablement in those areas. So at least you can go out and feel confident, or as you've seen from the Azure Migrate tool today, get something else to do the sort of work for you. Thank you to everyone for joining. I'll be sticking around to answer any questions that come through on the Q&A for the next 10 minutes or so. If anyone has any questions or would like to access any of the resources that were talked about during this webinar, please get in touch with your account manager to discuss. But once again, thanks for joining and hope to speak to you soon.